Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and this is another audio recording as I'm going to be talking about why did I come to Earth and what is my purpose? Again, as I talked about in the previous video about the right or the wrong path, this is a very common question that I get through hundreds of my sessions. In fact, I would say probably about 80 to 90% of the sessions I've done with thousands of people over the world through these past few years has been based upon this. Brad or Adronis, why did I come to Earth? Brad or Adronis, what is my purpose here? What am I here to do? Now, again, I don't want to bury people with any kind of metaphysical fluff and saying that you came here because you chose to. That really doesn't help anybody in that form of honesty. We really have to look into the idea that every single particular planet that exists has some particular type of life, some form of life theme that people, beings, entities, etc. are exploring. And that they all represent different game themes to them, different game cycles. Some basically help us to understand more about the finiteness as it represents life. We are all basically life architects. This is what Soul is so interested in. It comes into this universe and it wishes to understand life. It wants to understand life in all grand forms, to how the innovation of it has come together, of how it feels to be within a particular type of body, something that represents a construct. Now, basically, the soul does not have any particular nitpicky or derogatory aspect as it relates to life in general. The soul wants to experience it all, which means there are grains of sand, which represent aspects of spirit. There are leaves upon the tree itself, the grass, the clouds, animals, human beings, all walks of life, everything that represents the living life force is what we, as souls, are very fascinated by. We want to understand the entire construct. That again represents that the soul is not in any particular form of derogatory nature as it relates to life. Coming to this planet, incarnating as a young baby, growing up, moving into the toddler years, the childhood years, the adolescent years, the teenager years, the young adult years, full middle-aged adult, into the elderly, etc. It's all part of a cycle that has brought about understanding. Now, really, when we look at it, the soul truly lacks the state of excitement. It is not truly in a state of excitement in that way. It truly is in an alignment of love, and that love really represents an energy of subtlety. But it is not really the aspect of the soul to be in an alignment of excitement. Excitement represents a polarity, and if we're really looking at the true isness of the soul itself represents subtlety. It is about the idea that it spreads its tendrils throughout the dimensions of life, the dimensions of the universe, the dimensions of creation, and continues to spread out these tendrils and fractalize more of this knowingness within itself. And it is simply curious. It simply has a curiosity, but it has a very loving curiosity. And this curiosity is for the soul to experience everything, every single thing that exists within a universal construct. That is why it does what it does, because it is the soul looking into itself. It is turning itself inward, and it is imagining itself as all of these life constructs. It's imagining itself as a human. It's imagining itself as an animal. It's imagining itself as an extraterrestrial consciousness. It's imagining itself as a star, or as a planet, or as a galaxy, or as part of a nebula, whatever it may be. All of these are constructs. So, to really ask the question, why did I decide to come to Earth, is the idea that this is all part of a fractalized concept of your soul that is experiencing zero discrimination as it relates to life. And that as the soul does not discriminate, it does not have conditions or limitations upon itself and saying that I'll experience everything except what it is to be an earth-based human. No way. I'm not going to experience that. That's awful, right? As I said, the soul itself is emotionless. It has no emotion. It is the idea that it is simply a loving, infinite construct itself, even beyond that, a pure essence that is existing within construct and being able to explore itself through every facet of life possible. Coming to Earth and therefore having this particular type of lifetime was something that was done by invitation. You do not just go to a planet and say, oh, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and incarnate here and that'll be that. No. You have to understand that this is no more different than working together with Spirit. That Spirit makes the decision to invite you in to the planetary system. So therefore, a fractalized aspect of your own soul was invited to be here on Earth and share an experience as it relates to humanity, to humankind. And basically, you got the rundown about what Earth is going through. And through a soul's perspective, this is intriguing. This is very curious. I will go upon the earth, I will incarnate as a human being, and I will experience what it is to be that particular entity, and have these types of choices, have these types of experiences, have these type of people, these types of events, these types of things. All of these things coming together and amalgamating itself into my life circle, which represent all experiences, all expressions. That is enough for the soul to come here and play a game as a human being. When you first try that game, the fractalized version of your own soul is very fascinated and starts to grow a personality based upon what it had experienced on this earth. It wants to go back again and experience more, because it felt that it was swimming in the pool of the earth as a human incarnate for a certain amount of time, but, well, that was all there was to it for that particular lifetime. Well, I'm really not done swimming inside this pool. I want to go back, jump right back in, and explore this further. I want to look more into family. I want to look more into friendships. I want to look more into life explorations, being of service, to have children, to have more sex, whatever it may be, right? We go back. We basically go back into a state of re-entry, and we go back into incarnational re-entry and return back as another archetype of human being that again may have somewhat similar experiences to what we just had in a previous lifetime, but again just with a change of theme. And this is why we keep coming back. This lower fractalized version of our own soul essence is very curious about what Earth has to offer. It's not a boring place from everything that it has experienced, and so it will continue to go through incarnate re-entry. It'll start to re-enter and re-enter and re-enter and re-enter and re-enter until it feels satisfied that it has done everything that it needed to do, everything that it felt this represents an achievement. And basically how it comes to that decision is when you no longer have any attachments or possessive aspects to the Earth experiment itself. Once you have done that, you feel like you've now retired from the body, and you're now coming back into the aspect of the soul cue that represents this field to where many of these soul intelligences exist, and you look back into your life review and you just realize, I feel I've done everything I've wanted to do on this planet. I feel of great humility with everything that Earth represents, with everything that I went through as a human being. Thank you, Earth, for this beautiful experience, but I feel completed. I will now go off and seek another game. That's it. That's all it takes, is when you no longer have an attachment, a possession. It's no more different than looking at an addict. and whether it's an alcoholic or whether it's a drug addict, whatever it may be, they will continue to have their fix. They will continue to have their escape until they actually make peace with it. When they make peace with that addiction, with that escape, it no longer becomes an addiction and escape. It was an experience that has now become harmonized with themselves, and now they can return to the velocity of going back into source intelligence and now being able to try something else as another more heightened aspect of fractal pattern relating to the soul essence. So that is basically covering the first part of it, about why did I come to Earth? Because it is the true nature of your own soul essence to explore all facets of life, including humanity. And what you are living through right now is the experience of humanity. And discovering that it is such a wide, incredible, broad palette of discovery to help you understand yourself. Now, what is my purpose? There isn't one, really, other than the ones that you personally create. The universe really has no purpose for you other than the idea of you to come into this universe and express yourself, explore yourself, understand yourself, realize yourself, love yourself, advance yourself, see how you are connected to all things, feel your interconnectedness, become that essence of love, understand the instances that everybody else and everything else that exists through this 360-degree perspective we call external reality is truly at one with you. That's it. And that's not even really a purpose. That's just the aspect of a construct. That's the idea of you peeling off layers of yourself and realizing that all that remains is oneness, is that aspect that we are just one gigantic essence, all connected together with each other. So any particular purpose that you would define is something that you have assigned to yourself. Purpose is the definition of self-assignment, of what you feel represents your own particular interest of whatever it is you may want to explore. Again, family, maybe profession, whatever it may be. Your purpose is self-serving. It is not the idea of saying that I need to come onto this planet and set everybody straight because I feel that's my mission. Well, all right, but that's not really why you came here. That's an invention that you have created. The universe does not need you to change it. It is the idea that you are working together in helping yourself to say, how can I configure my interests, configure who I am, and become the essence of that which I feel is natural to myself, to flow in authenticity. And that's not a purpose, that's just a realization. That's coming to the point of you stripping off all of these layers that have been excess weight, that have been additional mass, that you have placed upon yourself to feel this is why you've come here. But again, that is an invention. You have no purpose other than the idea of the purpose or purposes that you create. You have direction, would be more of the appropriate way of saying this. That you have certain directions, you have opportunities, you have avenues that you can walk down and get an understanding about who you wish to be. But you are not here to change anybody else but yourself, because there is no one else here. And through that aspect of understanding life, it would be no more different than us passing through a great eye of the universe and now being able to see this replication of the universe through our own unique perspective, through our own consciousness. We basically replicate ourselves by passing through this eye of the universe, receiving this download, and now having all of this universal construct data fed through us as we pass through the eye, going through this universal construct and saying, well, here's all the downloads, here's all the maps, here's all the constructs of everything that represents this universe. And every single soul that comes into this universe passes through that eye. That eye is basically helping you to see the construct of everything that represents this universe. And it is replicated constructs, a replicated dynamic of the universe itself. And we have come here, and now that we're all playing this same kind of universal software, the hardware represents us as a soul continuum. And we are going through planet to planet, star to star, galaxy to galaxy, dimension through dimension, etc., to helping us understand the totality of this universal construct infinitely, and that is an infinite expression. It is the finite and the infinite merged together, the infinity within the finite, and that we have endless opportunities of endless explorations, of endless expressions, of endless possibilities, of endless outcomes that continue to cycle themselves again and again and again, which means you can play this game for as long as you possibly want to. But it's the whole idea that your purpose is only that distortion that represents the degree of a polarized concept to meaning. To have purpose is to have meaning. To have meaning is to represent a distortion of your personal assignment to what an event, a person, a place, a thing represents. So it is not really about purpose, other than your own self-serving nature. That is what purpose represents. And this is, again, why you have come on this planet. Explore yourself. Understand yourself, because you're the only one here. When everybody else is here with you, these are, again, different catalyst reflections, sharing with you who you are on deeper levels of being. Showing that if there is a controlling person, there's an aspect of you there. There's someone who is innocent or shy, that's something with you as well. Somebody in that sense who's belligerent or hostile, that's a part of you too. This is how it works. We create these instances of reflections, of catalysts, of people that come into our life who may be wonderful people to be around or nightmares to be around. And that this all just represent the aspect of our own psyche, clustered off and being able to share the many perspectives of ourselves. That's how we work. That's how this universe exists. You will only be able to create aspects of people based upon how you feel about yourself. Everything that represents your self-construct. And it's quite vast, but it's showing you if there's something that I don't prefer, then this is something that I have the opportunity to make peace with. To basically work in not engaging and not involving myself in that particular element. I am now able to work with that. I understand it. I acknowledge it. I make peace with it. I love it. I forgive it. I surrender to it. And now I make peace with it. So when the time comes where I expire from this physical body, there is nothing that attaches me to the world that I feel I have to come back and face again. Because that's pretty much the only reason we come to this planet. Something to feel, something to express, something to experience that is still lingering. And so when that lingering is no longer there, another game will await you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brad Johnson, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the next video. Thank you, namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.